is Rita-Michelle Apia, a member of Group 5, and we are discussing library management system, where a user can return and borrow books, display books in an array, which is title, author, and availability, display functions for returning books and displaying books, prevents the borrowing of a book if the book is already checked out, ask the user if he or she wants to borrow another book or exit. So this starts by hashtag include stdio.h, which is a preprocessor directive which tells the compiler to include standard input output operations, standard input output library, which is necessary for input output operations in C. Hashtag include string.h provides functions to manipulate the string. These functions help in copying, comparing, accessing, and modifying the string efficiently. A book, a structure named book. A structure named book is defined by type df. Char title, a character array which stores the title of the book with a maximum of 50 letters. Char author is a character array which stores the author's name with a maximum of 50 letters. Int availability is an integer which displays the availability of a book. Open bracket book semicolon is an array for displaying books. Book books close bracket equals open bracket semicolon is an array, declares an array for books in the type book. So the first name of the book here is called Code Complete by an author called Steve McConnell. The one here indicates that the book is available. The second book, Clean Code by Robert C. Martin. The one here also indicates that the book is available. The third book is The Pragmatic Programmer by Andrew Thomas and David Thomas. The one here also indicates that the book is available. Hence, all these three books are available in this library management system. The int size displays the number of books in an array. Size of into brackets book displays the total memory size of books stored in the array. Size of into brackets books into brackets 0 displays the number of the type of a particular single book in an array. Void display available books is a function that takes an array books and int size representing the number of books in an array. Printf available books indicates the number of available books present. For the for function here, the for function loops through each book object in the array. The if function here checks if the book is available, and the availability of a book is equal to 1. So if the book is available, it will be equal to 1. Printf %s by to a new line book. So if the book is available, it prints the title. It prints the title and the name of the author. Thank you. And I'll leave it up to my other group members to describe the rest of the code. God bless you all.
Hi guys, my name is Evelyn Osibuating and I'm in group 5. I'm coming to talk about the fourth and fifth parts of our code, which is the function to borrow a book and then a function to return a book. We all know that in a library management system, we have to obviously have a part where you can allow your user to borrow a book and a part to allow your user to return a book. So I'm going to start off. Starting off, we're about to start from the function to borrow a book. The void over here just basically allows the code like it's a command that allows the code to run off, and then when it's done, it returns back to its previous code. So when we come to the next line, which is char title 50, this means that the inputs the user is going to use for the title, like where the user is going to input the title, cannot be more than 50 words. In the book the user is about to use can't be more than 50 words. So the next line is printf enter title of book you want to borrow. So this is what's going to be displayed to the user. Enter title of book you want to borrow. Then the scanf is what we just input the information. The next line over here, which is this whole thing, let me highlight that, which is this whole thing, is basically what will allow the code to search through the list of books using a loop, obviously. Okay, so now let's move to the next one. In this code, this over here is what makes the code, what's it called? The code for the function to borrow a book cap insensitive. When I say cap insensitive, all I'm trying to say is that, let me give you an example. Over here where we have the title of the book, which is code completed, it's just telling me that, oh, and when I say cap insensitive, it's just telling me that if instead of starting it with a capital letter, which is done in the book, which is how it's written, and I make it a small letter, it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make any difference. So instead of me to input capital over here and I input small there, I'm still going to have my code run and not tell me that book is not found. So yes, that's all that part is trying to tell us. And here, if availability of book is equal to 1 and book availability is equal to 0. So the top function over here, this whole part, is what is going to search through the, is what's going to search through the book and tell us whether the book is available. If the book is available, it's going to tell us that book availability is equal to 0. So when book availability is equal to 0, meaning that the book is available, then it will print out to the user that book borrowed successfully, book borrowed successfully. But then if it checks and then the book is not available, it will print out to the user book already checked out, book already checked out. So then if we check through and then the title of your book we don't have it at all, it's neither borrowed out, it doesn't fall under our category. Like instead of typing, let's say your book has a title of 60 words, it just print out to you book not found, because we've made the code in such a way that the title has to be not more than 50, not more than 50. So that's basically it for the function to borrow a book. Obviously, if we do have a function to borrow a book, we obviously need to have a function that will tell us to return a book. So this is also basically what will allow the user to return the book. So now returning a book is almost the same as the function of borrowing a book, but here instead of borrowing the book, we are returning the book. So we already know that the void is what commands the code to run off and then do what it's supposed to do and return back. Now over here, the chart title is 50. So when you're returning your book, the book title cannot be more than 50. If it's more than 50, it will just print out to you book not found. Then over here, it's also print enter title of the book you want to return. So this was going to be displayed to the user for the user to see. That's what's going to be displayed to the user for the user to see. And this kind of here is just what will allow us to input our information. So now let's take a look at this part. We can see that this part is different from the one in borrow a book, which is this part. So here, this just tells us that our function for returning a book is not cap insensitive. In fact, it's cap sensitive, meaning that instead of the part where I would bring a caps lock, let's take clean.code here, for example. Let's say I've typed here correctly, and then I get to where to type in the code, and I don't start the code with a capital letter. It will automatically tell me that book is not found because it's caps sensitive. So meaning that if you're typing your code, you have to if you're typing the title of the book you want to return, you have to be very conscious about it. Otherwise, just print out book not found. So that's what that part is just trying to tell us. So here, if availability of book is equal to 0, means that the book is not there, then it will print out return book successfully. But if it checks through the list of books it has and then the book is already there, it will just print out book is already available. And when I say print out book is already available, I'm trying to say that it's going to display to the user that book is already available. So yes, that's basically it. So I'm going to run the code so that you will see what I've been trying to say all along. So let's run our code. So yes, at this point, I'll choose to borrow a book. So enter borrow a book. Let's say we are borrowing code. Since the borrow a book is not cap insensitive, I can type all in smaller letters, and then I will still be able to run. So you see, it tells me book borrowed successfully. Now, if I want to return the book, it will tell me enter the title of book you want to borrow. And if I write it's like this: code complete without bringing the caps lock, and I enter. It will tell me that book not found, book not found, book not found. This is because I told you in the previous code that the function for, you remember that over here it means it's cap insensitive. So if we forget to bring the caps lock, it will give us book not. Yes, let's re-enter our choice again. So to return book, enter. Since this one is cap sensitive, we will make sure that we bring the necessary caps. So now enter. Then you see book returned successfully. So this is basically what the return function and then the borrow book function helps us to do. So yes, from here my colleague will continue with the rest of the code. Thank you.
I am David Nateokutu, a member in Group 5. Our project work is to do with creating the library system for how to store books. So in here we have the int choice. The int choice contains a loop which is the do while loop. And then in the do while loop we have an output function which is the printf. The reason for the printf is because we have a htdio.h header. So in that header it contains two functions, which is the printf and the scanf. So we are using these two functions in here in our int choice. And then we have the first one being the printf, which is we have the open bracket or in an inverted comments, which is library system, and then we have to print this in an escape line, which is \n, or then bracket close, and then we have the terminator sign there. And then in the second line we have printf, the same printf, and then that is the one displaying available books in the int choice, or in bracket and then inverted commas, and then we have a terminator at the end of the first printf. And then we have printf, which is the two, borrow a book, that is a choice, borrow a book, \, and then an escape line with a terminator. And then we have printf, the same output function for the user, that is number 3, which is to return a book, \n, that is the escape line. And then we have printf, which is the 4, and then is the exit, and then we have printf, or starting with a curly bracket, and then in there is enter your choice. So the number of choice, the choice you want to make, you have to enter it there. That is the user will see that enter your choice. And then we have the scanf, and then we have the format specifier, which is the D, dealing with an integer. And then we have the ~signed choice. So this ~signed choice is a variable containing the data type, that is the %sign.
So, hi guys, my name is Yaba Eldad of Programming Group 5, and I'm here to explain the switch case in our library system. So the switch case here. So what then is a switch statement? So a switch statement is a type of function that helps you to execute or control a number of codes based on a specific criteria. So how then is a switch written? The switch is written by, you start with a switch, an open bracket, you write your expression, and your expression is always going to be an integer, because with the switch we are comparing integers to deploy or to execute a code. Then your curly bracket, and you're going to write your cases. Your cases are going to be stated case 1, then the number of your case, then we have a colon, then what you want it to do, then the break. So the break here means it is going to execute and it will stop. It will prematurely exit after it is done executing your case. So that's why the break is here. So it's going to so that's how you write it until you meet the default. So the default is part of the switch statement. Why is the default here? The default is here, which is if any of your criteria are not met, what should it tell the user? So ours is what? Invalid choice. Please try again. And the switch case statement was written in a do while loop. In a do while loop. So ours do while and our expression choice is not equal to 4. Yes. So that means it's going to continue to run whilst choice is not equal to 4, which means choice should not be 4, then the program will run. Else if choice is 4, that means you are telling this to stop. So if you do while choice is not equal to 4, you should continue doing the loop while choice is not equal to 4. Yes, and returns 0, which means after going through, if there is no problem, we should end it. So now let's have a quick look of how our code works. So I'm running. Okay, so ask me. So it asks me, please enter my name. Where's what do I want to do? I want you to display an available book. That's one. Yeah, okay, I've seen my books. I want to borrow a book. What book do I want to borrow? Clean code. Dot code. Yes, borrowed books access. You see, I entered one. Well, it took me to available books. That's what case 1 was supposed to do. Display available books. The function to display available books. I entered 2. It took me to borrow books. That's a function to borrow a book. Yeah, and I entered. Okay, I've not entered 3. I want to return a book. So yeah, what book do I want to return? I borrowed clean code, so let me return it. Yes, you see, and with the 3, same with the 3, but a function to return the book. So I've returned my book successfully. What about any number apart from 1, 2, 3, 4? Because in a do while loop system, we said it should run until the number is not 4. So what if I enter 5? Is it going to run? Yes, it's going to run, but because it is not in our case, our switch case statement, it's going to tell you invalid choice because it has not met any of the criteria. It's not 1, 2, 3, or 4. So let me say by mistake I enter 5. Or they tell me invalid choice, I should please try again. Okay, so let's see how it exits. If I enter 4, which means the do while should end. Since my choice is going to be 4, it should end. And when it's going to end, it should print this exiting, you successfully exited the library system. Yes, so that's the simple library system 5 we created. Thank you very much.